Good afternoon, everybody. Uh, I decided not to continue with Marvel Heroes. I might go back and mess around with that some other time. Uh, I just figured with the recent new patch for Control. Uh, well, there's a new patch that came out. That's the HDR patch that came out for PC and consoles. Really, what it is an amalgamation of stuff that was already the main features are it has HDR support for consoles. It unlocks outfits that were previously unavailable, and unlocks a like a mini quest starring Hideo Kojima that was previously PS4 exclusive. All these things were actually available if you modded the PC port already. Like you could unlock the costumes, you could unlock the quest, and the HDR mod, or like the HDR edition, I should say, is actually a mod that a Remedy developer released for the Control PC version about, I don't know, a year and a half ago. And so I guess in the run up to their new game FBC Firebreak, they just put all this together and released it as a new patch. Um, in addition, they just dropped some news with that for the new game FBC Firebreak, and that's coming this summer. I always keep Control installed on my computer because it's probably my favorite game ever, and I played it, I don't know, like 5 times. So I just don't even bother uninstalling it anymore. So I decided, maybe we can do a run through this. The thing is, on the thing about Control and the way the saves work is that you only have the one save. It's it's like Wolfenstein. You just go in and press continue, and you just have to go with it. Um, it does have a mission select where you can roll back your save to previous, like, I get checkpoint isn't really the word, but it's kind of the word. It's like here, like mission select, and these are specific points in the story that you can roll it back to. But there's no new game plus or anything like that. So when you start a new game, you just start. You got to start a new game. Okay, so let's start a new game. One thing I should probably say is that I am going to take it slow. I do like to. This game has a lot of world building and a lot of notes, but many of them are very funny, and I think the world of the oldest house is very interesting. Um, I don't If you're not very familiar with the Control, it takes place. This is the game that I think quote unquote starts the Remedy verse. What that means is that Remedy, the developer, Remedy Entertainment, they made I believe it was called Death Rally. It was like one of those top down, racetrack games. Uh and then they moved on to Max Payne, which most people probably know, and then Alan Wake and Max Payne 2, and then this. And Alan Wake kind of obliquely references Max Payne. The Unfortunately for Remedy, because they try to stay independent, they've made a lot of publishing deals with different publishers over the years. So like Max Payne is now owned by Rockstar, so their games can't actually reference Max Payne specifically. So they can reference a character like Max Payne without saying his name is Max Payne. And then that happens again with their game Quantum Break, which is owned by Microsoft. And that would become a problem later with Alan Wake 2 when they try to incorporate characters from Quantum Break, but they can't. So they have to change the story a little bit and change the name of the characters. But Control is the game where they start to actually bring the Max Payne like character and Alan Wake. Since they do own Alan Wake in particular actually exists here. And this is the game where they start bringing everything together. And then Alan Wake 2 takes that even further. And so I call this the beginning of the Remedy verse, even though I guess technically Alan Wake 1 does it just like in a I don't want to say oblique again, but it's not very definite. They just kind of hint at it, and it's almost like a joke. But they're actually starting to take it seriously now. Okay. New game.
Fair warning. This is gonna be weirder than usual. Can't be helped. You called me. So here I am. I know I shut you out sometimes. I'm always glad to hear from you. It's just that I get my hopes up. So many times it's led to nothing. I found nothing. It's like we live in a room, and there's a poster on the wall. We stare at it and we think that's the whole world. The room and the poster. The picture's something nice. A landscape, a famous person. Like in that movie, what is it called? The prison movie. The room's a cell, and the picture, it's different for each of us. It can be beautiful or terrible, but we're all transfixed. But it's all a lie. Something to distract us from the truth. They're lying to us. We're lying to ourselves. The room's not the world. The world is much bigger and much stranger. There's a hole hidden behind that poster that leads to the real world. We all feel safe in that room. But sometimes something crawls out from behind the poster. And the ones that see it happen freak out and try to forget what they saw. I'm here. Why did you bring me here? Hello? Anyone here?
Enter Jesse-Faden. Probably my favorite character in any video game. One thing I'm gonna try to be careful about this. I'm gonna play this as if people watching have not seen this game before, But like I said, I've played this game several times, but I really think, on the one hand, I really like talking about the lore of the game, but also one of the things that I enjoyed the most about playing this the first time, it was just getting to experience, like, discovering things about the world of this game for the first time. So I'm gonna try not to talk about spoilers. Prohibited items reminder. Reminder, certain objects are not allowed to be inside the Bureau. Recent incidents have necessitated an issued reminder on prohibited materials. Unauthorized weapons, pagers, laptops, smartwatches, smartphones, smart gaming devices. Don't bring your Switch. Anything smart. Numbered to pencils. Any objects considered iconic representations of an archetypal concept, e.g., rubber ducks or ketchup bottles. All materials under Bureau investigation is to be brought in through the private entrances. If you see any lobby personnel in breach of these policies, please notify your supervisor immediately. Apparently, smart doors are still okay. Internal lockdown in effect. Building lockdown in effect. Multiple containment breaches detected. Multiple building shifts detected. Head of research override. HRA protocol activated.
This seal. I saw it a long time ago. I keep seeing it in my dreams.
Hang on, I'm gonna boost the game volume a little bit. Okay, let's try that. Euro expenditures. Staffing, surveillance, redacted. Data center initiative, construction, redacted, redacted. Okay, so one thing about this game is that it's heavily inspired by a, what would you call it? Like a group copy pasta, okay, I don't know. It's called SCP, Secure, Contain, and Protect. It's a website where people go and they write fiction in a universe where there is an organization that investigates and, when needed, contains paranormal objects. And one of the running gimmicks of it is that when you write an article, you redact things in the reports, the articles, to make it seem classified. And that's one of the things that Control will it takes from that is many reports in the oldest house that you are gonna find are redacted to retain some mystery, I guess. Head of Research, Dr. Casper Darling. Our Bureau at Work. director Zachariah Trench. Okay, so well, I guess I'll hold off on talking about that until afterwards.
Federal Bureau of Control. All these years I've been looking for them and they were hiding in plain sight.
Socks and ballerinas live at the oldest house. Food left in the refrigerator in containment break room 3-8 has been known to vanish. Plan accordingly. Delays caused by house shifts do not count towards overtime. I guess that's one way of not having any brands associated with the game. Security order. Redacted. A Sharkin is redacted. Although secure, redacted permission to redacted following basic protocol redacted. Shoot to kill. Good luck. His life is in your hands. R4 reports reminder. Hello. As you all should know by now, the R4 reports are due by the end of the week. We're still waiting on them from a number of people. If you need an extension, please request R4E from your supervisor. If you think you're exempt, you need to get permission. Blah blah blah. If your R4 requires interdepartmental claims, then please contact the appropriate department head, Dr. Darling, Miss Marshall, Mr. Salvador, or Mr. Kirkland, as needed. They'll be busy on Thursday in their annual policy review, so please schedule accordingly. So that's another thing about this. In addition to the SCP influence with the paranormal, it also like meshes together bureaucracy, just like mundane bureaucracy, and how these kind of like mesh together when you're trying to run a government organization around dealing with this.
Hey, excuse me.
There you are. You are here about the job. Janitor's assistant. You need to go to the interview. Go that way to the elevator.
Thanks. Elevator that way. Got it.
Very good. I'm Ahti, the janitor, by the way. You'll work for me. You can say I sent you. If they don't hire you, you are no helvet. There be work for the axe. Take them behind the sauna, jumalauta.
I've done enough night shift loner jobs to know it makes us come off weird. Ahti the janitor is a friendly face in my book.
Better than somebody with no face at all. Think about it. No face.
But that said, I know what you're thinking. If there's an axe murderer around, that's him.
How did he know we were thinking about faces? So, Ahti, this is one thing I don't want to get into too much right now in the beginning, but Ahti he's an important character, let's say that. and will continue to be even after Control. Wait a second. Didn't we start here? Interesting. And now the elevator is where Otzi's picture was.
The cell and the poster. I was 11 years old the first time I saw behind the poster. They told me I imagined it. I've been trying to pull it down ever since. Will you help? Did I lose you there for a moment? You know what's on my mind. My baby brother, Dylan. 17 years since the men of this bureau took him.
I didn't touch that. Approved terminology reminder. While pending any notifications of death related to the Willow AWE, please adhere to the following guidelines. Word phrase to use in the service of his/her country: regret, proud, pride, will be remembered. Words phrase to avoid: Alaska, scissors, blood, bleed, loss, apologies, sorry. Okay, take note of this picture because we will be coming back. Trench, do not disturb. Barbara, I am not to be disturbed. Cancel all my appointments for the day. For the rest of the week. I can't trust them, Barbara. Not a single one. Is that... What was that?
Shit. Shit. You want me to pick it up? The murder weapon? Really? Something's outside. Was coming here a mistake? And there goes the poster.
Objects of power can cause or be results of AWE's altered world events, intrusions upon the perceived reality. Now, the service weapon is, of course, a prime example of an OOP, a very powerful one. Ingrained in the Bureau's DNA, a key component in our prime candidate program. Come out of that Russian roulette a winner and you're it.
Look at this place. Where am
You must choose to be the chosen one. That is going to be an important theme in this game going forward. Now, I've always thought that the astral plane is one of, like, I think it looks really cool, like this obsidian marble concept that they have going on. I really think when I first came in here, I was like, this is fucking cool, man.
The same gun. Okay, now I have a gun.
Service weapon regenerates ammunition automatically when not in use.
Something's coming. This threat. An attack. Duty as director. Keep the Bureau safe.
Did you hear that? It's the dead man. Right after the pyramid spoke to me, and it was just noise, and I understood every word. And this gun's alive. You know what? I'm happy. Happy to be here. Things have quieted down outside. Is it safe to go?
One thing I'll say about this game is that this map is fucking terrible. And this is the map, like, in the patches after the game first came out, it was actually even worse. And they had to, like, add stuff to the map to help you navigate around, and it's still just terrible. I really love this game's use of lighting.
You can't let this happen. 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 was horror.
So, one continuing thing about Remedy as a developer is that Sam Lake, sort of like Hideo Kojima, hang on, Hissguard. Bureau has many internal security personnel. The Hiss was quick to take advantage of this fact. Hiss guards use the standard issue bullpup rifles they carried prior to corruption, while the armored guards carry pump-action shotguns. They have no observed paranatural abilities, with the exception that certain Hiss guards are protected by a shielding of dense Hiss resonance. Is this shielding a result of prolonged Hiss corruption? Does the Hiss mature in organic hosts over time? More data is needed. Did the Hiss target individuals with combat training? Does the Hiss have that level of cognizance? Does it utilize hosts for tasks they are best suited to? Combat trained hosts are reserved for combat? These are all questions for later, though it is obvious that corrupted individuals retain knowledge on their use of weapons. This might be something these might be things I should read in a few minutes. Maybe not right now. Anyways, so Remedy has, like, Alan Wake was sort of interested in, they had, this really goes back to Max Payne. Max Payne, there would be these TVs that you would see throughout the game, and they would have, they would be essentially TV shows, like 30 seconds of not really acting, they were pictures. Like, Sam Lake and some other developers would dress up in costumes, and then they would take a picture of it, and there would be voiceovers, and they would move. When you continued through the game, you would run into these TVs, and the shows would, like, the stories would move on as you progress through the game. And then in Quantum Break, what they tried to do is that they would have the levels of the game that you played, and then intercut with those levels, there would actually be, like, real filmed TV episodes. They were like 20-minute episodes of real acting, real actors doing stuff, and they were filmed on location and stuff. And those would progress the story of the game. And then here you have, they filmed Courtney Hope, the actress who plays Jessie Faden, and they cut her in these short little sequences in the game. It's not as, they definitely pulled it back from Quantum Break, but they still filmed the people doing this stuff, in addition to motion capping. And then in Alan Wake 2, they push it a lot farther than here, not quite as much as Quantum Break. Even there is a entirely live action film sequence in Alan Break, and there are sequences throughout that are filmed, but they're shorter. So it's kind of a middle ground between here and Quantum Break. But they do like to experiment with live action film intercutting with their video games. And another thing that they like to do is music. They use music as part of the storytelling. So they don't use licensed music.
Secure line of communication. Guidance. Reach the hotline.
The hotline, says the dead man. Okay.
So, like I was saying, for music, they don't use licensed music. Sam Lake writes music, and then has bands actually play the music for his games. but all the lyrics for the songs will. Oh, I need to turn that off. All the music for the game, or like the lyrics, will be about events taking place in the games, and especially in Alan Wake 2, they will be played at certain moments that, you know, are about what's taking place at that time. Executive meeting minutes, rising costs of AWE response, update on mold eradication efforts, upcoming annual salary review, new supplier of coffee filters. Please come prepared. Like I said, they like. Oh, okay. So circling back to that picture, now that Jesse has taken the gun and is the director, the oldest house has updated all the pictures of the director. And we will, as we progress through the game, we will learn about the oldest house and why and how it's able to do that.
Reminder, if you experience an unanticipated building shift, follow these simple steps. 1. Search the room for any altered items or objects of power. 2. Carry the altered item or object of power to the nearest safe room. 3. Wait for Bureau staff to find you and the object. If there are no altered items or objects of power in the vicinity, then reach your supervisor via the nearest intercom and await further instructions. Thank you for your attention.
Now, some of these whiteboards are just kind of like whatever, but many of them will have funny jokes or like hints as to like world building hints, things that are going on. So you gotta check them out. And if you noticed, I shot out those speakers. And they go quiet, and the people talking, that if you can, I might need to turn up the volume a little bit more, but you might hear people talking in the background. Dinner reservations at 7 p.m. at Chez Ombre. Wife will meet you there. Don't be late. Flowers are ready for you at lobby reception. Remember, she is turning 46. Don't forget your wife's fucking birthday, bro. That's bad news. That is a very big door. Marshall, AWE Investigations. We checked out the suspected AW in Duluth. It wasn't anything, just like the house fire before this, and the malfunctioning clothes dryer before that. My team is getting pretty sick of duds. We need to find a better way to sort the fake AWDs from the real things. Or you need to rotate these field agents off for a bit. Anyway, we're en route to Sherman Ranch. Next one on the list. Let's hope it's a little livelier there. Now, you might have noticed that I opened this chest and I got a little loot that showed up in the bottom right corner. One of the things that I personally believe was extraneous to this game is that they added a loot and a crafting system to this. So you get these materials and like you get these mods that you can add to your guns and to your to your body to do stuff, and you can pick up loot to like combine into stuff to make these mods. And I think it's just this game does not need those systems at all. I am not personally a fan of that, but it's there.
The hissing sound that tried to invade me earlier. The hiss. Burrowing into everything in this place. Is the hiss your enemy? Alright, it's our enemy. That babble's contagious. It burrows in like an infuriating melody that makes you hum it over and over.
Urban legends. Urban legends are believed to affect the creation of altered materials, but can also dictate the characteristics of an altered world event. Urban legends are understood as the modern evolution of Jung's archetypes. We recognize certain redacted, informed by our own redacted, and popularized by our media. We have additionally proven that urban legends can even be artificially redacted in popular culture using redacted, our bureau-made anthology television program. Once the seeds are sown, human imagination exacerbates the details. Certain paranormal phenomena contain clear elements of popularized folklore, AWEs that only occur on blank. A pair of scissors that consume human blank through 2 punctures on the blank. These details, living in the minds of so many, have been given strength through belief. Urban legends are not just stories for children, they are paranatural realities waiting to happen. Those scissors sounds pretty fucked up. So yeah, okay. If you notice, Jesse hits stuff every time I do that, because I use the B button to exit out of stuff, and B is that button. So every time I back out of something, she just does it automatically. Visitor evaluations. How to handle unscheduled visitors entering the lobby. Start with the following. Welcome to the Federal Bureau of Control. Established in 1964 as part of an effort to strengthen government relations. We are proud to serve the United States and our people as we strive for transparency and excellence in all aspects of our esteemed nation's infrastructure. If they do not leave, then ask them these questions. Are you here to see someone? Are you here from New York City or just visiting? How did you find this place? If their answers are sufficiently harmless, explain that this is a secure federal office and that they'll need to leave. If their answers seem redacted, escort them to a private room. There, perform the gunner's psychological assessment. If their responses are within the acceptable range of deviance, see the provided scoring sheet, then redact it immediately. Remember, there is no such thing as too suspicious. So, as you can see, one major feature about Control's engine is deformability in the environment. And that will actually come to play even more in a little while. This is called the Northlight engine. This is Remedy's in-house engine, and Control, it has a lot of deformity like this, but Handbrake has a little bit, not so much. And then the next game, Alan Wake 2, does not really have any deformability at all, even though it's the same engine. This reminds you of the astral plane where we talked to the board, except it's red. Interesting.
Must cleanse control points. An enemy. Corrupt. Spreading them.
Cleanse the control point. What does that mean? Help me fix it.
This is what's known as a house shift.
Holy shit. You did it. We did it.
Hello? Can you hear me? Are you with us? With the Bureau? Are you still sane?
I can't tell you how happy I am to talk to somebody sane.
The feeling's mutual. Yeah, I'm Pope, Emily Pope, Dr. Darling's assistant.
My turn. Should I lie? Jesse Faden. I'm just visiting. I should have lied.
Oh, shit. You're the new director. Hold on. We're coming out.
It's Jesse's girlfriend.
Director Faden.
Call me Jesse.
Okay, Jesse. I'm Emily. Look, somehow this hostile force, this
Hiss?
that works. Somehow the hiss managed to infiltrate the building without any warning.
And just like that, my name for it is official. The hiss. Like the sound of poison gas leaking in.
We're in full lockdown. It seems to have spread everywhere and to everyone not protected by an HRA. And, extraordinarily, you. You are the director, and that makes you special by definition. Trench is no longer the director, obviously. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. This whole situation is just a lot.
Trench is dead. Shot.
Ah,
I found his body. And the gun. Do I tell her it looked like a suicide?
the service weapon.
Also, and this can sound crazy, but he keeps appearing to me, saying things. It's hard to make out, but he told me to cleanse the control point, push the hiss out. The whole room shifted around.
You did that? And you entered the building when it was already in the lockdown before you became the new director? How?
I'm not ready to tell her about you yet. A janitor let me in.
I love it. This is fucking unbelievable. I can't even... Look, Jesse, I have a million questions, and you probably have a million more.
Like, do you know my brother Dylan? Not yet.
But there's something I need to ask you to do first. If you can cleanse a control point, then you can maybe cure those infected or possessed by the hiss. Because if that's possible, our options
I don't know
are
if cinematography
different.
applies to video games, but I just love how they
I
position
like
some
how
camera
I edit.
shots in this game.
She's the opposite of the faceless agency I've blamed for what happened to me for so long. But I can't trust her yet. Or rather, the Bureau she's a part of. Yes. I can try. I'm speaking for you, of course. We can try it together. Okay. You with me? We did it before. Push the hiss out. didn't work. The hiss has burrowed too deep.
Hiss agents. Now we can actually read these because it makes a bit more sense. Compiled by Emily Pope, research specialist. Now we have met Emily Pope by order of director Jesse Faden. Okay. The hiss manifests in human hosts in numerous ways. The most common and least intense form is seen in the many corrupted agents floating throughout the Bureau. The hiss agents have maintained their human appearance, undergoing no obvious physical transformation. The most notable distinction from an unaffected human is the fact that they levitate. These hiss had displayed no aggressive behavior. They only seem interested in vocalizing the strange incantation ad infinitum. Perhaps these vessels are only meant to propagate the hip's corruption, like spores or Wi-Fi boosters. Or are they cocoons preparing to enter their next stage of evolution? When attacked, hiss agents disappear, perhaps entering a state of invisibility or undergoing a transformation into a purely resonant form. Research is ongoing.
Ripping it out rips them apart.
Jesse, over here. We need to make a plan, Jesse.
I can't cleanse them.
I saw. It was worth a shot. Thank you, Director. Jesse.
I'm gonna tell her why I'm here. I'll risk it.
Listen, the Bureau was involved in an incident in my hometown, Ordinary, 17 years ago. The Bureau came in and covered the whole thing up. I've been looking for this place for a long time.
That's enough. Maybe that's too much already. I can't tell her about Dylan and the rest yet.
I've seen mentions of an Altered World event case dealing with Ordinary. You were at Ground Zero as a child? It was one of the big ones, and before my time. And very classified. I can try to dig out some old files for you. My boss, Casper Darling, would know, but he's missing. I think he knew this was coming, or suspected. He came up with the HRAs, the Hadron Resonance Amplifiers. I think they're what saved us, or a few of us. And Director Trench would know.
Trench, the ghost, or whatever he is, he mentioned something called the Hotline. Said I should find it.
It's another object of power, like the gun, an old Bakelite telephone. A direct line of communication between the director and the board. Maybe he can talk to you more clearly through that. I mean, Trench has years and years of experience. He might know how to destroy the hiss.
Where is the hotline?
It's kept in the communications department through the mailroom. It's part of this sector, so we can access it even with the lockdown in place. We'll get the door open for you.
Okay, that's my next stop.
That's Tomasi's department. He's head of communications. I don't think he had an HRA. He kind of made a point about not wearing one earlier. Keep an eye out.
They call me the director. But that's not me. I'm not a director type. I'm not a leader. Why am I here? I think you already know. Yes, I came for my brother, but there are other reasons too. I said I was looking for answers, but I might never understand them. I'm not looking for proof. This is already it. More than enough. No matter what they told me all those years, I know it's real now. I didn't imagine this. I want to be a part of this world. What scares me shitless is that I finally found it. Only to see the hiss destroy it all.
so don't hesitate to ask me anything you want to know. There are no stupid questions. The door to the comms department is just outside the boardroom back in the lobby. They should have gotten it open by now. Follow the signs to the mailroom. You can get to the hotline containment chamber through there. Good luck, Jesse. See you back here once you have the hotline.
Thanks, Emily.
The line, I want to be a part of this world. I think it was just like, that was me in this moment when I first played this game, is that everything up until right then was just like, it's so cool, and it just had me hooked immediately. And then she said that line, and it's like, it's me.
The hotline should be in the communications department.
Where did the hiss come from?
I'm not sure. You said the hiss was here when you entered. Did you see anything like that outside before you came in?
No. No, just inside.
The source is internal then. See, the oldest house is a sprawling complex with openings to other places as well. I don't even know where to start looking. But in the context, it's good news. The lockdown holds. The hiss escaping the building would be the end. Pretty shitty world out there if you ask me, but I wouldn't want the hiss to destroy it.
With you on that, Emily. You mentioned the oldest house. What is it?
This building, the Bureau headquarters, the oldest house, is a shifting place. You've seen it. It transcends its physical limits.
I've been to New York a few times. How didn't I notice this place?
It's an attribute of the building. This is a place of power. The oldest house doesn't like attention, so unless you're purposely trying to find it, you don't, which is perfect for us. The work we do here is essential, but unstable. The Bureau prefers not to be noticed. And we need strong walls to make sure nothing gets out.
So without you, I never would have found the front door.
Okay. This Trench guy. I keep hearing him in my head. Is he a ghost? Haunting me?
I doubt we're talking about a ghost in the traditional sense, but an echo maybe. See, if he was killed by the service weapon, your gun, maybe it's his final thoughts recorded by the bullet in his brain, like a deep space probe sending back data. But that's just a hypothesis on my part. I need the gun to research it. But you better hold on to that given the circumstances.
I think I will. Yeah. Can you tell me what an object of power is exactly? This is all, well, new to me.
Don't worry, I love going over the basics. So objects of power are mundane objects that house paranatural energies and have developed a link to the astral plane and can thus be controlled, which is what differentiates them from altered items, which are still housings of paranatural forces, but are more volatile and cannot be bound in the peri-utilitarian sense. Got it?
Did she memorize this?
Got it. Thanks.
Okay, so basically, objects of power, like the service weapon, are things that Jessie can bind herself to and tap into their power. Altered items are paranormal objects that are just kind of freewheeling, and you can't bind yourself to them. You can't access their power, but they have to be contained because they are dangerous.
So HRA stop you from becoming Hiss?
Well, it seems that way. I mean, I hadn't even heard of an HRA until a few weeks ago when Dr. Darling started handing them out. Well, I began analyzing mine as soon as I got it. I mean, each one seems to emit a powerful short-range frequency way beyond anything I've ever seen.
Doesn't the timing seem suspicious?
I thought that too. Dr. Darling usually likes to unveil his latest breakthrough in big presentations. With these, he just passed them out. Yeah, his behavior makes me wonder what exactly he knew.
Dun dun dun. Okay.
Thanks, Emily. I'm sure I'll have more questions soon.
Just let me know.
Now, we are going that way downstairs, but let's take a moment to wander around. You'll be seeing a lot of these throughout the game. Luckily, it seems that one of the in the patch notes for the new patch that just dropped the other week, it said that they fixed texture streaming issues. And unfortunately, for the longest time, you would walk up to these whiteboards, and most often they would just not load in these textures, so it would just be a big blurry mess, and you'd have to like go and pause and go into options and change your like resolution or the texture resolution and reload the game in order for it to pop in the right texture, and you would have to do that like every couple of minutes. It was just incredibly annoying if you were trying to go around and explore, so I'm glad that they seem to have fixed that. Technological restrictions. The oldest house imposes certain limitations on our bureau, but by far the most restrictive is the inability to use certain technological instruments. The oldest house does not allow devices that receive or emit any blank signal, probably Wi-Fi. Radio waves are the only transmittable signals in the oldest house, and even those are often unreliable. If the power of collective unconscious is taken into account, it could be that certain pieces of technology are too new in the cultural sense for the oldest house to to incorporate them, I guess. Similarly, these items have not been known to become receptacles for altered status. Technology may be moving at too fast a pace for the redacted to occur. Modern technology tends to disappear and break here, sometimes quite violently. Redacted agents have been injured by cell phones exploding in their pockets while entering the oldest house. So remember to put away your cell phones like they ask. Can't find your office? Watch your step. Don't read confidential correspondence. It's not just rude, it's illegal. Is that a stapler or an altered item? Don't take office equipment outside the building. Well, now I'll never look at a stapler the same way again. Shifted bathroom complaints. Listen, I know you can't control building shifts, but the executive level restroom has been missing for weeks now. I worked my ass off in Islamabad station for 3 years. I've earned the right to a nice workplace shitter. If you can't bring it back, at least find out where it went. Someone shut off the radio. Okay, raise your hand. Who even remembers these fucking things? Who knows what a pencil sharpener is these days? When was the last time you saw a pencil sharpener that looked like this? It's probably been, I don't know, like 15, 20 years for me. It's been a long time. Hey, is that Sam Lake on the end? Okay, yeah, I guess I wasn't gonna mention it at the time, but now that we've seen the movie, we can talk about it. If you didn't notice, the person who's doing the voice acting for Zachariah Trench is actually the same voice actor as Max Payne. And you will notice that Remedy reuses actors like that a lot. Courtney Hope, Jessie, was actually in Quantum Break. She was one of the main characters. And Sam Lake obviously appears in many games. He was in he was the figure for Max Payne. You know, his famous face is the face that he always makes, and he appeared in Alan Wake 1 as Sam Lake, and then also the actor that plays the character in the book that Alan writes. It gets pretty complicated. In Max Payne, in Alan Wake 2, Sam Lake plays 3 different characters. He plays himself, Sam Lake, the game developer, the person making the Alan Wake games, and then he plays Sam Lake, the actor who plays Alex Casey, and then he also plays he plays Alex Casey. He gets to have a lot of fun in these games. Okay, so now that we've done the little tour around Central Executive, let's see about getting to the hotline. Okay. We're going for round 3. Okay. I see the game on OBS, so it should be showing this time. So let's do this again. Okay. And before we walk out there, let's read the things. Already did that. The only person you should fail is yourself. So much is expected of the director, the responsibility, the privilege. Deep, deep words. Okay. The object's form is variable. When bound, the object allows para-utilitarians to redact it. This object must only be bound by individuals seeking the role of the director. The object will determine whether they succeed. If rejected, the applicant is terminated. This process is dictated by the board, though their criteria is unknown. Background: the object was discovered inside the oldest house, in the room that is now used as the director's office. The popular hypothesis, redacted, in many forms throughout history, redacted, linear, Excalibur, Vara Nostra, all weapons that blank of their wielders. If objects of powers are the convergence of forces based on the collective subconscious, and this may be the original manifestation of that event. If this is the case, redacted. Okay, correspondence. Where we wanted travel costs. Visited the following Nevada accommodations. Blah blah blah. Mini bar, $313. Gasoline, $295. I do wonder if a motel called the Ocean View is going to be found in a landlocked state. But hey, I guess I'm not paid to think, right? And for the record, I again request that you give us the budget to get 2 rooms each night. Agent Rowley and myself are very tired of sleeping in the same room. See you on the road. The boys in research said performing rituals may help identify any places of powers. Drinking those little whiskeys is my ritual. Okay, holy shit. Oh, actually, yeah, right. So, when you see, like, when you saw Trench, like Ghost Trench, like they play, you see them talk, but when they do that, it's not actually the full thing. You have to go into the menu, and then there's like a longer video that gives you the full spiel. Oh wait, this isn't even it. Fuck. Okay, I guess sorry, that doesn't happen until you get the hotline, and then you can watch them. Sorry, getting a little ahead of myself.
There it is again. Our welcome message.
Avoid modern technology. Synchronicity Research Department. We will hear about that later. This looks pretty dangerous. Remember that for many, many, many hours later. Hiss barrier. The Hiss resonance field is a physical impediment that is difficult to define. Hiss barriers appear in ways that appear as ways to impede escape or access by Bureau personnel. 2 methods have been discovered for lowering them. 1. Destroy the multiple concentrator resonance sources found in the vicinity. 2. Destroy the Hiss entities in the area. The resonance fields seem to require support for their size and density from other non-connected sources of Hiss resonance. Without the ability to draw from these sources, the barrier will fall. Does an inactive structure made of Hiss resonance qualify as a conscious being? Does the distinction make any difference when considering the Hiss? What does the very act of building walls to prevent our movement tell us about the Hiss? To what degree is it watching and planning? Unstable area notice. Due to recent fluctuations in the nearest control point, this area's stability has been downgraded to yellow. Reference chart. Green, stable. Yellow, low possibility of unanticipated building shifts. Orange, high likelihood of unanticipated building shifts. Red, frequent unanticipated building shifts. Havana summary. An auditory event occurred at the United States Embassy in Havana. injuring the majority of diplomatic staff stations there. Blank deaths were reported, and the outgoing information has been managed. Event response. Bureau agents arrived at the embassy on the same day as the event was reported through federal channels, but were too late to witness the AWE, which is reported to have been redacted. Staff experience sudden intense vibration and noise, accompanied by an intense pressure in the ears. This lasted for redacted minutes. No visual phenomenon was witnessed. The scene was cordoned off and the embassy staff were transported to the continental U.S. After Formula I-9 was recited in the vicinity, a single cowboy boot began to vibrate, identifying it as an altered item. The item was contained and brought to the Bureau for examination. Okay, so this is a joke. The Havana syndrome thing was an actual, like, thing that people talked about here in the real world a few years ago. That people were saying was like, was like some kind of Russian or Chinese, like, weapon. So they just kind of made a joke out of it because it sounds ridiculous. Okay, and I guess just to say what exactly is going on, if you saw me run into that room, you saw my health bar like totally deplete, right? Well, one of the things in one of the final patches, like the one before this, the new one that came out a couple weeks ago, like the final patch a couple years ago, they had added what they call accessibility options, which are essentially like they're cheats, right? So you got like enhanced aim assist, which will target their head a little bit better, and energy recovery multipliers, so you get back when you like. You'll see in a little while you start getting like super abilities, and it drains energy to do that. But with some of the energy, like it's a lot more fun to use the powers than it is to shoot the gun most of the time. So having a high energy recovery, it makes combat a lot more interesting. And ammo recovery is the same thing. There's a mod that I will be collecting later that gives you infinite ammo basically, but until then. And then immortality is when enabled prevents Jessie from dying, however she still takes damage. So like you'll notice when I ran into that room, it dropped my health bar all the way to the bottom, so I should have died, but I have immortality, so I didn't. But I still like to play as if I do not have immortality most of the time. Like, I don't want to just walk up to a guy and shoot him in the face until he dies. That's not really fun. You still play with the mechanics. Machine God. I had a dream, and I built the thing I saw in my dream. A machine that will contain God, but not the God you know or the ones anyone knows. A new God. This machine will be his body, his heart, and his mind. I made it just like the dream showed me. I used the motor from the refrigerator, and the coils from my toaster, and the fans, plus the timing belt from my car's engine, and the wheels for my son's skateboard. God can't move yet, but the dream said he would learn how on his own. This is just a beginner's body, like a baby's, but a machine instead. God only needs a place to start. If you want to interview me, please contact me at the address on the envelope. My phone does not work anymore. I had to use the dialing plate on God. So we are in an area of the building called Dead Letters, and we get a memo on it pretty soon. But what this area is they intercept mail, essentially, and anything that's weird or suspiciously paranormal, they intercept it and they go investigate it, basically. So watch what you're sending in the mail. kind of makes you wonder how Jesse is so suspiciously good with a gun. God, I really love the lighting and like the level design of these places. It's just so good. The oldest house looks so cool. Like, everything about this game is just like directly targeted at me. I love everything about it.
Just look at it. 8 inches wide and capable of storing a whopping 80 kilobytes.
A whopping 80 kilobytes.
CIA, the disk held the launch codes to Soviet nukes.
These were real floppy disks, by the way.
Disk, of course, but one exactly like it. A perfect fusion of concepts vibrating in the Cold War era collective unconscious. A receptacle. It is a receptacle for dangerous energies to hone in on. And they did. We don't have the details, but when things started flying around the disk, it was transferred to us. It's an object of power. OOP. Oops. Oh, and it can launch things telekinetically through the air. To date, we've launched maybe 3 dozen pencils. And once, we even launched a cup.
Even a cup? Holy shit. Singing fish. Mr. Governor, I called the police, but they never come to my house. I got a problem, and you gotta send folk to fix it. I got my wife one of them singing fish on the walls. It's not a real fish. It sings when you hit a button, but it's got the devil in it. It flies around at night and sings devil songs. It says lots of cuss words. The devil got in my house because of the fish. You gotta come handle it. My wife is real upset. When can you come? Dead presidents. To whom it may concern, I am being contacted by the past presidents of the United States of America. They appear as spirit guides, giving me their wisdom. John Adams keeps saying I need to fix America, but I can't really understand him. They all have a lot of opinions. People tell me I'm imagining it, but Theodore Roosevelt showed me how to fix my lawnmower, and I don't know a thing about lawnmowers. Explain that. I have great dead men telling me about the past and the present. If you'd like to use my abilities to help run the government, please let me know. I know the White House could use me. I seem to be stuck inside a cart. Book Club. Hello, avid readers. The Bureau Book Bunch will convene at the usual spot in the corner table of the cafeteria at 5 p.m. on Tuesday. Currently discussing Unless You by J.D. Brooks. Everyone should get their reviews to be by Monday before lunch so I can generate some conversation starters before the meeting. Okay. We'll watch this first and let it speak for itself.
She walked into the city and didn't come back. I don't know what missing in actions is, but I sure wish someone would find her.
I'll help you look, Telfer. We'll find your mama together.
So, these insanely creepy videos that we will see a few of throughout our journey. Like, I don't want to give away too much in terms of spoilers, but there is, like, there is a reason that they exist, but why they are so creepy is just, like, there's no real explanation for that other than that people in this building are fucking weird. Trench, dead letter approval. Okay. I'd like to thank you for approving my request for the Dead Letters Archive. Cataloging the Bureau's collection of delinquent mail will provide an extremely handy database that research teams can use to search for any connections or related topics found among the letters. Aside from the more functional purposes, the archive will allow us to preserve these windows into authentic human encounters with the paranatural world. The letters came to us from various places and times, gathered by the Postal Service as undeliverable. The Bureau is the perfect home for them. I realize not all letters contain accounts of genuine paranatural events, but even the erroneous ones will allow us insight into how the unknown is perceived by real people. Of course, I will first compile a system to allow us to analyze the letters for any information or suspected connections to AWEs and other altered materials. Thank you again. Can't wait to delve into my dead letters. Okay. Nope, no, upstairs.
Communications. We're on the right track.
Internet usage rules. Internet is not for social media use. No FBC materials of any kind may be scanned or uploaded. FBC email addresses are for work-related correspondence only. Level 5 clearance required to access internet. If a cubicle's black rock shell gets damaged, vacate it immediately and alert Mr. Tomas. If you notice any text in your work that you do not recall writing, vacate your cubicle immediately. Do not connect internal comm devices to the network. Printer is for the communications department use only. Altered items are forbidden in the cubicles. Notify security of any breaches immediately. They may require internal lockdown. Oop, wrong button. Welcome to the comms department. Whoa. Oh shit. This dude just got whacked in the front of the head.
Power. Some piss have latched onto it. We need to cleanse it.
The floppy disk nuke.
It's harder to hear you when I'm here. It's like the channel's been changed. The board's in charge here. They're pyramids in the Bureau seal. Are they really the ones pulling the strings? I'm not their director. I'm no one's director.
The most important ability that we will have in this game, and the best. When I mentioned earlier, when I was showing off the accessibility options for energy recharge, this is the power that I was referring to, is that launch is just much more fun in general to use to defeat enemies than shooting them, in my opinion.
There you are. You were gone. Cut off. I got it. Just like you wanted, right? This will help me fight the hiss.
Hiss, which one? Hiss Ranger. Rangers are the Bureau's well-trained and well-armed expeditionary forces. Their Hiss-corrupted counterparts are equally formidable. Prior to corruption, Rangers were trained to use a variety of weapons in order to face any threat found during AWE response or threshold exploration, including the submachine guns, assault rifles, and automatic shotguns. Hiss Rangers utilize these weapons as well as the advanced tactics taught by the Bureau instructors. Some are additionally outfitted with Bureau-made body armor. Hiss Rangers have no observed paranatural abilities beyond some being protected by a shielding of dense Hiss resonance capable of stopping bullets. Considering the advanced training the Hiss Rangers are capable of applying into the situation, is it feasible to consider the human mind still remains intact to some degree, or is the Hiss able to tap into this combat training and utilize it? For further observation required. Hiss Demo Expert. The Bureau only allows certain highly trained individuals to handle volatile materials and weaponry. Our demolition experts are instructed in the use of explosives in dimensions with distinct physical laws, making them important assets for engineering work as well as combat situations. Hiss demolition experts are the only observed Hiss variations to wield the specially built rocket-propelled grenade that is designed to identify and track redacted enemies once fired, making them a threat whose termination should be prioritized in combat scenarios. I find it remarkable that the Hiss restrict usage of this weapon to the Bureau personnel who train specifically for its use. What does this tell us about its behavior? Can it not pass along new information to corrupted enemies? Still too many unknowns. Book Club, Samson. Oh my god. So I don't usually read a lot of sci-fi, but as far as space operas go, this was alright. The title Unless You could refer to a bunch of things in the book, I guess, but I thought it was a little vague and stupid. And the way the characters kept throwing it around, almost like a catchphrase, got real annoying real fast. The best part of the story was the space battles. I sided with the Fixers, obviously, because they had the coolest tech and their motives made the most sense to me. Honestly, if I had to choose between some hoity-toity flowers and guns space hippies or a badass bunch of warriors who go around devouring planets like cheap sushi on a Sunday, I know who I'm picking. That scene where they invade City Planet and convert the entire population using those brain worms, and that space dogfight between those two ace pilots signed me the fuck up. What kind of ruined the whole thing for me was when my favorite character got killed, not even halfway through the story, by getting a battery cylinder launched into his face by a gravitational anomaly. His death didn't feel necessary at all. Totally not some connections to the game going on in there.
The hotline can be reached through the mailroom.
Okay, well, I guess we're going for round 4. I don't know why, like, I'm not getting any encoder error messages, like overloaded encoder, and I'm not seeing any drop frames. It's just all of a sudden, the picture gets frozen on OBS, and it says my bandwidth is 0. So I turned down the output bitrate a little bit. Hopefully, I'm not sure if that's what's going on, but we'll see if I can at least finish out this stream. All I wanted to do was get through the hotline, and then that was going to be it for this stream, but apparently it's a little bit too much for what's going on. Tomasi, Willow AWE. National news sites have begun publishing the story of the polar bear attack on the Alaskan town. You all know I don't like to boast, but claiming that family was killed by migrating polar bears desperate for food because their ecosystem is being ruined by global warming was a stroke of genius. Using current ecological concerns makes the public much less likely to redact it. So another AWE behind us, and the public is none the wiser. Well done, everyone. It was a strong campaign and perfectly executed. This doesn't mean we can stop monitoring redacted for any off-message opinions, but it's looking like we're in the clear. Tomasi out.
This must open the door.
Oh, I'm sorry, if you see these things and, like, the reflections look a little weird, that's just kind of how the game is. You can turn off screen space reflections, but I think it looks like none of like the floors or the walls or anything will actually be reflective or anything. So I think it loses a lot of the look if you just turn off reflections completely. But occasionally you are going to get weird artifacts like that. Unless you have a card capable of ray tracing and you could just turn that stuff off. In which case, it probably looks a lot better. I wouldn't know. I don't have a ray tracing card.
You're listening to America Overnight, mystifying the airwaves for more than 29 years. Thank you for staying up with us. Ghosts. We've had many callers over the years tell us of hauntings, voices, and other phantasmagorical phenomena. Today, friend of the show, Dr. Quincy Reagan, tells his story. Quincy.
Thanks. This is something I experienced recently while staying at the Chili Pines Motel in Macon for last year's Suspicion Con. I was in room 47. The night manager, an avid listener of the program, insisted I take this particular room. Now, the manager explained that years back, the body of a man was discovered under the bed, inside that wooden border that motel beds tend to have. And the body had been there a week, he said. Guests had stayed there, sleeping with the corpse a foot below them. They only found the body when housekeepers complained about the smell. Hauntings have been reported in room 47 ever since. I happily took the room. I fell asleep pretty quick, checking under the bed first, of course. No ghosts visited me, no chilly spots or flickering lights. But when I woke up, I found myself under the bed. It was dark and stiflingly hot. Luckily, I was able to push the mattress off and crawl out before I suffocated. The night manager was kind enough to find me another room.
There you have it, listeners. What we call ghosts take many forms. Quincy was brave enough to tell his story, and I encourage you to keep calling and writing whenever you encounter something strange, something you can't explain. Maybe you're seeing colors that we have no name for. Maybe your toaster is possessed. Remember, dear listeners, when no one else believes you, we do. America Overnight, we'll be right back.
So we'll see memos about this later, but one of the other things, in addition to getting the mail from Dead Letters, is that they have a radio show and then they produce a TV show that gets people to talk about paranormal stuff. I'm not gonna read all this, but this is one of the... Who wrote this? I don't know, take a picture of it, or press pause on the stream if you want to read all this. Marshall, lockdown distinctions. Pay attention, Alberto. This is the last time I'm explaining this. Internal lockdowns are manually triggered events that lock one or all of the sectors by restricting use of the sector elevator, effectively locking staff in their sector until the emergency is handled. They can only be lifted via the directorial override in maintenance once the director is satisfied that the situation is under control. External lockdowns are a bigger deal. Nothing in or out of the whole building. It's only triggered by a code red containment breach. based on some complicated system that security and research slapped together. It can only be lifted once A, the threat has been neutralized, and B, a high clearance individual gives the system the all clear. This process is not the same as the directorial override, so stop saying so in documentation. I know it's confusing as hell. I've told Darling 100 times to change it, but they're adamant it stays the way it is. Honestly, I don't think they even know how to change it at this point. Let's just make sure our staff understand how this mess all works, okay? Now, that room that I should have died in, and you see this stuff, we will learn about what that stuff is later. If you notice, that is the voice of Ati. And this is the internet room. Don't damage the cubes. Okay, my stream dropped again. So I turned on RTSS to see if it'll show me, like, any kind of information on what the fuck is going on. Like, the end is right over here. All I wanted to do was get to this point, but it keeps fucking crapping out on me.
They can fly now. Great.
And now I'm getting, like, super lag. Hiss elevated agents display abilities similar to telekinetic competencies observed in Bureau para-utilitarians. Some prefer to charge their targets, while others launch objects at them. Telekinetic attacks have been ineffective against the Hiss elevated due to their own talent in the area. They do not use any weaponry except their own paranatural abilities. Some Hiss elevated have been seen levitating while strapped into chairs. This is likely the result of individuals being corrupted while undergoing cognitive recording and parapsychology. How are they able to use paranatural abilities? Is it possible that these individuals were bound to objects of power prior to corruption? It's also worth considering that the Hiss residents can identify and express latent paranatural ability in the individuals it corrupts.
Feeling he'll be back. Let's stay focused. The hotline should be past the mailroom.
Well, sucks for that guy, I guess. Tea time. Hey Malcolm, yes, tea time is at 7. I'll see you at the course on Sunday morning. By the way, have you heard about this Tennyson report? Apparently there's a bunch of copies drifting around the office. French is looking to get his hands on any information about who wrote it. You wouldn't happen to have heard anything about that, would you? we will hear more about the Tennyson report in a few other memos, and if you read between the lines, you may even learn who wrote it. Well, that'll come later, but that's a ways down the road. But you will eventually figure out who wrote it. Butte summary. A spate of disappearances was traced to a home in the city of Butte, where Bureau agents discovered a translocative light switch cord. Bureau agents arrived at the home of a local celebrity, located redacted, which had been connected to a total of redacted disappearances in the area. Agents found no one inside. While searching a closet, an agent pulled the light switch cord and disappeared from view. Another agent was selected to pull the cord in order to replicate the event. He disappeared as well. Both agents were discovered at the oldest house, redacted days later, found in a sealed room by rangers exploring a new area of the house. The light switch cord in the Butte's home closet disappeared during this incident.
Alberto Tomasi, head of comms. The hiss got him.
All right, take this down. The situation in Cuba has been evaluated by the relevant authorities. The mysterious illness affecting the staff at the U.S. Embassy in Havana was caused by sonic weaponry in the hands of a foreign power. Numerous personnel have damage to the inner ear, but most are expected to make a full recovery. Of course, the event also damaged their cellular walls, but we can't blame that on some stupid noise gun. Thank God no local doctors examined them first. Honestly, what are the odds an altered item would show up inside a U.S. embassy? Talk about good luck, huh? So much easier to... Hey, are you still recording this?
Oops. And as you can see, in order to get mail around, they use vacuum tubes. Which I think is a nice touch. Because they can't, you know, really use email.
The hotline can't be far now.
Butte supplement. According to their testimony, the agents had been transported from the Butte home to a roadside motel named the Ocean View Motel and Casino. If you remember the travel costs memo, they mentioned the Ocean View, that the FBC was looking for the Ocean View, and discovered a room key by performing a ritual. See file Mot 01. The key opened a door marked with an inverted black pyramid, which they only learned after a lengthy period of trial and error. After pulling another motel cord inside this room, they were transported to the oldest house. The disappearances of the home's owner and the other locals of the Butte have been attributed to the light switch cord. The Ocean View Motel is now known to have many doors and pathways. Since the occurrence, identical light switch cords to the one found in the Butte home have begun appearing throughout the oldest house. At the time of writing, blank light cords have been found in the oldest house, located in the redacted and the redacted sectors. These all access the Ocean View Motel, though how exactly this link operates is redacted, but initial hypotheses center on the Butte AWE as a redacted. Hotline security log. Trench, Bill Everett. Trench, Bill Everett. Trench, Everett, Trench, Everett. Carol Bishop.
The Ocean View Motel and Casino. Dream Logic. The light switch cord. The door marked with the Black Pyramid.
Have we been here before? No. I've stayed at a lot of roadside motels across the country, on the road, on the run, under the radar. This feels like all of them, like something recognized from a dream.
Note the spiral symbol. That is important. It is important to the Remedyverse. Because it's not a loop, it's a spiral. I don't know how they got away with American Airlines there, considering that's an actual company, but...
Hello? Anyone here?
Take a look around the room, see how things are laid out.
Key has a black pyramid on it.
Whoa, it's a picture of Jesse. Oh, that looks pretty dangerous. Good thing that the board knows about the collectibles menu, I guess.
It is a phone. It's an object of power. It doesn't connect to any typical network. A direct line to the astral plane and the board. And my hypothesis is, under the right conditions, to other planes of existence as well.
A director needs a team. My management team. These people know the secrets of the Bureau as well as I do. Some even better. Darling, Tomasi, Salvador, Marshall. Marshall especially, my head of operations. She sees right through me. She knows I don't like relying on people. The only person you should fail is yourself. But things change when you become director.
I have it. The hotline. I can reach Trench. Well, listen to him. He feels more like an echo. An echo with important info. I need to get back to Emily.
Okay, now we can watch the movies.
It took us a long time to learn how to stabilize the control points, the ley lines, the meridians of the oldest house. Darling found a way to soothe this beast. We discovered we must cleanse control points of all interference. It's my duty as the director, like Northmore before me. I couldn't manage it in my own house, at my home. I'll damn well do it here. Without the control points, the oldest house would swallow us alive. We'd be sealed inside an endless labyrinth, and no one would hear our screams. If an enemy ever managed to corrupt the control points, it'd be over fast, spreading like a cancer, leaping over the fire breaks like a crown fire. They are the weak point. Darling's right about that. He's wrong about everything else. Dangerously wrong. Suspiciously wrong. Has he been compromised?
Sounds like there's some tension between Trench and Darling.
Ringing in my dreams, constantly ringing. Ringing so loud I can't hear the voice I'm straining to understand. Why don't I pick up? It's a secure line of communication with the board. They would tell me what I need to know. Do I fear their answers? Would they have warned me of this threat? I didn't see it coming. The traitor in our midst. A conspiracy plotted right behind me. I can't trust anyone. I must assume all my intel has been manipulated. The hotline is the only channel I can trust. Bind it, control it. The rule and the ritual with objects of power. It can't be tampered with. The lifeline to the astral plane and the board. I must seek guidance. Soon. I'll rest first. I'm so tired. Always tired now. But I must reach the hotline. I think I'm under attack. An attack of dementia, exhaustion. It's a brain cloud making me forget. The hotline. I must reach the hotline.
It sure sounds like he did not reach the hotline.
A director needs a team. My management team. These people know the secrets of the Bureau as well as I do. Some even better. They have proven themselves. Darling, Tomasi, Salvador, Marshall. Marshall especially, my head of operations. She sees right through me. She knows I don't like relying on people. The only person you should fail is yourself. So I followed my own orders. Northmore hated my guts for that. But things change when you become director. You suddenly see this dark void for the horror show it truly is, filled with screaming fear we pretend to control. Sand leaks through my fingers. The roses I pruned in the garden back when I still had a family, all dead. Heat escapes my body. My thoughts are scattered. The universe keeps expanding. I can't keep up with it alone. When I forget that, things go wrong. And my team has to pick up the pieces. Damage control. To help me get out of my mess.
So, obviously, in a game titled Control, you're gonna hear a lot of... the theme of control and the lack thereof is going to be a big thing.
The Ocean View Motel and Casino is a familiar friend to me. I stayed in countless motels like it while investigating AWEs across the country, back in my field agent days. Those roadside motels all bleed together like a dream. Same and not the same. Anywhere and nowhere. The Ocean View operates on dream logic, and the light switch cord leaks out to be found in the most unexpected places, and sometimes successfully encouraged to appear and act as a convenient lock to keep out those not trained in dreamscape navigation. Even Bureau veterans can only find one key in the motel. The key that opens the door marked with the inverted black pyramid. The rest, the many other doors, are still mysteries to us. We're all merely guests there. Even the board. Sometimes I need to visit, just to breathe easier for a while. It beats the numb, sterile apartment I spend my nights in, insulated from everything but myself. I guess that's where the whiskey comes in.
So, he's not doing too well.
Something's coming. The whisper's growing louder. The worst winter storm in Bureau history. A retribution for my sins. Our sins. This threat could destroy the Bureau, everything I've built. Destroy me. A web spun, turning this place against me. I catch glimpses of it in the corner of my eye. It's just out of reach. Elusive. It's clever. A perverse game of hide and seek. Is this part of an attack? Obfuscating the facts. Dimming my eyes. It's hard to tell. I need answers. I haven't heard back from Darling. I fear for my friend, my closest ally. I think we made a terrible mistake all those years ago. That thing he studies is putting us all in danger. It's my duty as director to keep the Bureau safe. It'll be difficult. What's done can't be undone. There's no easy fix. Magical thinking is a requirement for survival. Pain and suffering are mandatory. To change things, you have to break yourself. I don't know if I have the strength. I'm old and weak. I'm afraid. I can see my hands trembling. I'm losing control.
And as you have noticed, it's like I said before, these hotline messages are much longer than the glimpses you see in game, so it's always to your benefit to actually watch these. And the board is pretty
People
cheeky.
react strongly when I tell them about you. Is it too soon to tell Emily? She might be able to help.
The game, like the board, is pretty cheeky with acknowledging that this is a video game. It's kind of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge from Sam Lake about it. The body's gone. Trench, Bureau funding. To all executive staff, I know there is some concern regarding our operations exceeding the annual budget. So long as we operate within the oldest house, we are obscured from scrutiny in many respects. If our budget demands are not exorbitant to the point of drawing attention, then they will be granted by the U.S. Treasury without question. The FBC is just another line in another spreadsheet that some lowly accountant won't even notice. Their eyes will skip over us as if we weren't even there. The nature of the oldest house allows us certain freedoms in how we operate. Our being here is no accident. Well, I guess Zachariah Trench hasn't met a Doge team yet. Those two sometimes talk. I guess not yet.
Jesse, did you get the hotline? I mean, how is it out there? The comms, the hiss? Sorry, you made it. I'm glad.
Emily? I got the hotline. I can make out what Trench is saying now.
Incredible. What did he say?
He talked about his management team. People who knew the Bureau's secrets. Your boss, Darling. Tomasi, but he's gone. He's gone. Salvador?
He's the head of security.
And Marshall?
Helen Marshall is head of operations. She's tough, ex-CIA. She took her Rangers and went to the research sector to secure the HRA production. She hasn't come back.
Someone who could help us. The other sectors. How do I get there?
It's impossible because of the internal lockdown. You can perform a directorial override to lift it, but that can only be done in the maintenance sector. Normally, you take the sector elevator down there. It connects all the sectors, but it won't work while the lockdown is in effect.
We already got past one lockdown.
Maybe I can find a way.
Jesse, look, with no prep, no training, in this extreme situation, you are doing phenomenally well. And all that and the hiss can't seem to affect you. I mean, I would love to run some tests on you. If you agree, that is. We could find out something that would help us.
Tests? I don't know. She might find out about you. But I wouldn't mind understanding more myself.
Okay. If you think it will help.
Great. I'll check the internal documentation for any lockdown bypasses. We need to get these sectors open to locate Darling and Marshall.
And I'll look for a way inside the maintenance sector. The sooner we find one, the sooner I reach this override.
Now entering Ati's neck of the woods.
Hi, Jesse.
Oh.
Thanks, Emily.
Well, it said that
I'm
she
sure
was...
I'll have more questions soon.
Just let me know.
They gave her a red triangle, like she had something new to say. Okay. Initial impressions. Summary. Initial encounters with the entity known as the Hiss have revealed various behavioral facts. Most notably, the Hiss is able to invade or corrupt control points, alter items, and even humans, radically changing their behavior. Curiously, any person wearing one of the wearable HRA devices that Dr. Darling has been distributing over the past weeks was not affected by this corruption. The only known exception to this fact is the new director, Super-Faden, who possesses an inherent immunity to the Hiss. This could indicate that she's already been corrupted, but her behavior is so in contrast to that of the other Hiss that I have dismissed this theory. My final observation comes from Miss Faden herself. She is able to cleanse material and organisms of the Hiss corruption. We tested this ability on a Hiss corrupted entity, but unfortunately the process seems to kill the host. Perhaps the host physiology becomes reliant on the Hiss? More work to be done.
Do you hear that? Someone's singing. Where's it coming from?
Singing. Sounds like it's coming from the elevator.
I heard the Hiss attack the power plant. Brings up a lot of new questions. Are they communicating? Coordinating? What about the plant attracted them?
The power plant is largely confidential. No use guessing the Hiss's motives if we don't even know what kind of energy it uses.
What do you mean? It has to be a fusion reactor. There's no other way to create that kind of energy output, right?
So we will be we will be learning about the reactors soon enough.
You don't think Darling...
Don't be stupid. What would the Bureau's golden child have to gain from killing the boss?
I mean, what's kind of amusing about this is that we have answers to some of these questions that they're asking. We just can't answer them. We just have to sit there and listen to them talk about it.
Hope has asked us to document the Hiss incantation, as she calls it.
You mean like in person?
In person, with a pencil and paper. I think she's trying to get us killed.
Now, these are the 3 outfits that unlocked with this patch. There are many other outfits, but you have to unlock them over the course of the game. I really like the tactical response. I think this is a fucking cool outfit. Not gonna lie. But this was the place that I had wanted to quit for the day 4 streams ago. Like, I do not understand. I mean, I have just been basically just reading notes and going very slowly, so I haven't been in a lot of combat or anything to see like what's going on now that I have RTSS on screen to show me like you know, data points on what's going on. I don't know why it was crapping out all those other times. So I will see you hopefully tomorrow with more, and hopefully with less problems. Thank you for watching, and hopefully for sticking with me through those crashes, and I will see you tomorrow with more Control.